Hi, and welcome to this installment of Frank and Mary in Northborough. If you haven't seen the show before, my name is Arthur Bergeron. I'm an elder law attorney. I work at Myrick O'Connell, and there are 70 of us, and so each of us gets to specialize in what we like, and I like elder law. And I started doing these shows to kind of supplement some of the work that I do here in Northborough, and realized that the show is really not about me, but about Frank and Mary, my make-believe couple that you've often, if you've been to any of my presentations, know about. And their goal is to live in their house until they die and be buried in the backyard. And their question here is, if they're in Northborough, what does that mean? What are the programs and the people that they need to know about in order that they can just stay at home and live in their home and live in their own community? Now, when I started with this Frank and Mary set of shows, I begged Kelly Burke from the Senior Center if she would co-host it, because really she's the person who knows about all of the people that you need to know about as a senior here in Northborough. So Kelly, thank you again for being willing to do this. And you've got a great guest for us today who's going to talk about one of the great features of your senior center.
Yes.
And who is that?
Yeah, I'm happy to have Vickie Killeen here, who is our Bistro at 119 manager. And Vickie manages the program in there. We have lunch every day, Monday through Thursday, when we have dinner on Tuesday evenings. So,
which is actually, I'm going to mention, folks, tonight. And so one of the things that Vickie said was, we got to move this show. I got like how many pounds? You know, I'm serving 140 people in an hour and a half. And it was like, well, this is pretty stressful. I was like, well, is that like a really big turkey that you've got like cooking?
No, actually it's ham.
It's ham.
Because it's right before Thanksgiving, so we didn't want to do turkey. We did that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
But tonight we're doing baked ham with homemade baked beans and coleslaw and potato and
it's cooking right now.
It's cooking as we speak.
So once again, now Kelly knows everybody and knows everybody's background, but for me and people who are watching who might not know you, you first of all told me that you actually went to school in Marlborough with the nuns.
Yes.
At the academy, where, by the way, my aunt was the sister superior probably while you were there.
Really?
Yeah, there's a piece of trivia. So just tell us about you. Tell us about how you ended up in Northborough, leaving Marlborough to go to Northborough,
right.
and how you ended up doing kind of what you're doing.
Right. Well, we moved to Northborough when I was married in '69, and at the time I was a hairdresser for 40 years and retired at 50, and then went to work for Tom Lowe. We had our own catering business, worked for Tom, and then from the schools, I was a lunch lady at Peasley and then the manager.
Yeah. Now, did you have kids that went to school here in Northborough?
Yes, yeah. Kelly and John.
Yeah.
And
are they still around?
One's in Florida and one's still here.
Oh,
Yes. And so now it brings me to knowing Kelly. Kelly used to come into Lowe's, and I did some work for her.
By the way, does absolutely everybody in Northborough know Tommy Lowe? I mentioned to Kelly, there's like this legendary figure. I've never met him, right? But he's like the classic pillar of the community,
well,
the way everybody has described him.
Anybody that owns a meat market and a general store in Northborough, which is kind of unusual for a home style store to be there, but now, people all know that. And Kelly used to come in and do some catering for me, to her, when her mom was around here, and a lot of things for the senior center we'd help her with, the chicken barbecue and things like that.
Yeah.
So when this position of the new senior center came about, and the position for the bistro to be invented, and so Kelly and I and a few others did kind of like a groundbreaking of what we were going to do up there. So we bought some things, we purchased some food, and we started what we called Bistro 119. Because
and this was after the senior center was built.
Correct.
Right? When you were when you were originally conceiving of the senior center, were you expecting that it was going to have such a large kind of a bistro or a food component, or is this something that kind of just evolved once you had the facility up and stuff?
We always planned, even in the building committee meetings when we were in the design phase, to have a commercial kitchen. I knew when I was at Center Drive that people really wanted to have that component. They used to come into my office and say, "We'll pay for a caterer if you get
just
that
bring
for
some
us."
Food.
And
just
bring some food, and and people like that. Everybody likes that. So we decided we'd have the bistro. The thing that we didn't have was a position in town to run the bistro. So I went out and got my Serve Safe certification.
Always tough to get a kitchen without a cook.
It is a little bit tough.
That's really stressful.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, if you
can't have that ham in the oven unless someone's going to take it
out
of the oven.
Right, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So so I went out and got my Serve Safe certification, which you need, of course, in any kitchen, any restaurant in town. And the volunteers and the other staff helped me to get lunch on the table every day, soups and salads and sandwiches. And
kind of from the beginning.
From the beginning. The friends had given us $1,000 seed money to get all the things we needed supply-wise. And Vickie volunteered to help us out to get the right stuff.
Oh, so you were one of the original volunteers?
Yes.
Oh, I see. And of course, because of your background working at Lowe's, you would have had a sense of that kind of commercial buying and all that
Exactly,
jazz.
exactly.
And we knew we wanted to have, you know, good food, nutritious food, but we know how important it is for people to socialize when they're eating. A lot of times if you're living at home alone, you may just heat up something and it might not be the most nutritious thing.
Yeah, because it's a hassle. What's the fun?
Right.
What's the fun of, you know, heating, right?
It's more fun to eat with other people.
Yeah,
so we, as much as we knew it had to produce some revenue because we didn't have, you know, any way to staff it, and we knew it had to be affordable for folks too, because we wanted people to come and take their exercise class and then have lunch with friends. So the other staff and volunteers helped with that. As I said, the friends gave us $1,000 startup money. Yeah. Then they saw how well it was being run, and they decided to pay for the bistro manager position. So there were a couple of, because Vickie was still working at her job and didn't feel like she was ready to retire from that yet.
And at that, so when you started being involved, you were still working at Lowe's, right? And you were like one of the volunteers that was like coming in, right?
Yes. Well, actually, I was at Peaslee School at the time.
At the Peaslee School.
Right. And, you know, I'd come up on Tuesday nights especially because there was such a large crowd coming in. And they needed help with quantities and how much to cook and how much to buy.
I see, because this notion of having a big Tuesday night meal kind of has been there for, that function's been there for a long time.
Well, maybe within 6 months after we opened.
Right. Yeah. We moved into the senior center in 2010 in March, and by that summer, the bistro was born. It was
already going.
And then we added in the component of dinner after we had gotten lunch under our belts.
I see. And how many volunteers were there to do this? Because this became a big deal.
Well, we try to have at least 4 or 5 volunteers during the day and maybe a half a dozen in the evening because, you know, there's a lot of dishes involved. And we do get close to between 60, sometimes 70 people on a Tuesday night to come in. And again, it's so social because a lot of people are alone. Yeah. And we've gotten groups at tables and reserved tables. You can reserve one for 6 and over. For people that come in, and some people say, just come on in and have a seat with us and you can get to know one another. They have a nice hot meal, drink, dessert, bread, butter, salad for $9, so they can't.
Which is pretty amazing.
It is.
Now for among your volunteers, are the volunteers mostly seniors themselves, or is
some of them are? Some of them are from Algonquin. The kids come in.
Oh, really?
Or from Shrewsbury. Some of the kids from school there. Yeah. We used to have a couple of boys from St. John's and some from St. Mark's once in a while. So it's kind of neat to see the kids interact with the seniors. They love that. The seniors love that, and the kids from Algonquin love it too. So it's like a very communicative type of situation.
I was going to say that'd be a great experience for both sides, right? For some of those kids to be coming in, and it's reminding them of one of their grandparents or whatever, right?
And some of the kids do come in the summer too on vacation. You know, they'll help out, and
so you evolved from being the volunteer to being. Was she the first?
We had a couple of bistro managers because Vickie was still working, so we did hire a couple of other people. One woman was there part-time, of course it's a part-time position, and then moved on to a full-time position. And then by that time, Vickie was ready to retire from her full-time and wanted part-time. Right. So it worked out well. And we have volunteers from all over the community. We have the Divas is a church group that comes in, and we also have employees from Iron Mountain, from Avidia, National Grid. So we're really,
all helping out here at the bistro.
We're all helping out. So we're very fortunate with our volunteers.
That's pretty terrific.
Yeah, it is terrific.
So this sounds like a part-time job that sounds a lot like a full-time job, but
at times,
I bet it gets paid as a part-time job, though, right?
But that's okay. Yeah, I enjoy it so much, and we have some great social events too. We had a wonderful Veterans Day luncheon. We served 100 vets and their family, their spouses. We've had holiday parties that are coming up. We have not so close to New Year's Eve parties, and this year it is going to be on New Year's Eve. So we'll have a luncheon.
So I was going to say, so tell us about the holiday parties and the early New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, the holiday party is great. We usually have someone come in play the piano.
Yeah, you have a piano there, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yeah, because there's lessons there actually that you can come and play piano.
And this year we have Lorene Aldericio's School of Dance. The students coming in and providing entertainment for the holiday party.
Oh, that's
the holiday
great.
Party. Yep.
Yep.
And there will be a pot roast dinner. And that night will be $12. It's a little bit more. We'll have just a fun time. Sing Christmas carols and then the New Year's Eve party.
Oh, excuse me. And so what day? Do you recall what day that is?
That is December
11th.
It's our holiday party.
Yep.
We did it a little bit early in case
December
there's a
11th,
snowstorm.
so that would be like a Tuesday.
Tuesday
Oh, it's a Tuesday.
night.
It's one of the Tuesdays.
Yeah, we did it a little bit early this year because sometimes in the past we've had to cancel because of the weather. So
it never snows that early. Come on.
Like right now.
Yeah, like could you stand it that it was snowing? Today is the middle of November. Oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, during the summertime, I was saying to myself, it's hot, it's humid, it's global warming, but there's going to be a payoff. We're going to have warm winters because, there are aspects of global warming that are okay with me. This is not okay. If it's hot summers and it snows in November, that's not okay, right? But sorry. But
I give the seniors a lot of credit. Like today, it was not a very nice day, but they were out for lunch and their classes, and it's just a wonderful place to come and enjoy.
They show up. So Tuesday, December the
11th
is the holiday party, right?
And the New Year's Eve lunch will be on the 31st.
31st. Almost New Year's Eve party.
Yeah. Because obviously Tuesday will be closed because it's the first of New Year's.
We'll have noisemakers and
noisemakers, and we'll have
so you have
sparkling cider.
You're doing a countdown to noon, I think.
We do, and that's when our piano player will be there playing the piano and singing Old Lang Syne.
Curtis.
Yep, George Curtis.
That's pretty wonderful.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
That's pretty wonderful.
Right.
So and it seems to me that you've told me that there's this staff. Is there more staff now?
Yeah, well, it's a great story of kind of entrepreneurship in the bistro because the town didn't have that position and didn't have any funding for it, and so the Friends did that for about a year. But then we found we were making enough revenues that we could actually pay the bistro manager who was there at the time. So the revenues that are made in there are put towards the supplies and the food and everything. So it really is run on its own revenues. The nice thing is the Friends, which I talk about all the time, being very good friends of ours.
And we've had the person who was the chair of the
Anita
Friends.
Hagsville.
She's
in an earlier show. She's pretty dynamic.
Yes,
right?
yes. And
but once again, she's inspired by a good cause. I mean, you can tell she's really into it because it's like things feed on themselves. If it's this fun, exciting place, it's fun to be a volunteer doing stuff.
Right. And the Friends are our fundraising arm of the organization. As a municipal department, we can't raise funds on our own, so they do that for us, and they do a great job. And I requested that Vickie needed more help because this place is just booming. The restaurant's booming. So they said we'll pay for another position, another 19-hour position. So both Vickie and Carolyn Harrington, who took that position, are town employees. They do get a town of Northborough paycheck, but that paycheck is paid for in Carolyn's instance by the Friends, and by the revenues that we make in the bistro pay for Vickie's position.
That's pretty terrific.
It is pretty terrific.
And so
it's
with
no
that
tax impact.
And so as a result of that, what has that allowed you to do? So now that you have the two people, is that increase the number of hours, or is it just that you got the same things but you're serving so many more people?
Well, that's what we needed.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both. Basically, I just needed some more help because our lunches probably went at the inception of probably maybe 15 or so people. Sometimes we have 50 for lunch. And we do that in an hour from 12 to 1.
Wow, that's pretty intense.
And sometimes it's even more. And there's days where we, like today we had the Rotary. They come every, for 3 Tuesdays a month they come for their meeting.
Oh, they have the meeting right there.
They have the meeting there. We have lunch for Daybreak, which is an Alzheimer's place for people to come.
Which we've had folks here from the Daybreak to talk about that.
Yes, it's great. So we have that, and we have the Dell Men's Club luncheon, and Harmonica Club we had yesterday. So every day is a challenge, and it's more and more people that are coming. So we needed some more help. I needed some more help.
So from the perspective of each of you, where do you see this going? I mean, it's continued to kind of ramp up, and it's been obviously very successful, right? But you're obviously always thinking about stuff in the future, just like you originally kind of conceived of this as being a big deal, and that's obviously really worked, right? And once again, by the way, congratulations, right? Because the notion of having, for Frank and Mary's perspective, you know, the notion of there being this place where, as you say, there's no food prep, and you can just show up, and you can be with people who may be sharing some of your own kind of issues, right? And know the songs that you know, and that's just a wonderful thing in terms of what a community is really about, you know. So, but that said, where do you see it? Where do you see it going from here?
Well, you know, Carolyn's been working there since July. Yeah. So she's got her feet wet, and she's brought some new and exciting different menu items. So
new
that
recipes and new soups. We make a fresh soup every day, homemade soup. Everything is fresh to order. So people have to be a little patient sometime when they get their food. So it's been wonderful to have her and to kind of talk to her about what we're going to do and our menu planning, and you know, rather than just
what is her? I didn't mean to interrupt you. What is her background? Is she from the food industry also?
No, actually, she is a teacher, art teacher.
Oh,
but she's very creative, so it kind of works. You know, just like I was a hairdresser, so you're kind of creative in that, and as well as food.
And you're doing something.
Presentation is the key.
And presentation is a lot of it.
Yes.
That's right.
And she can do a lot of training with that. That's some of the things that when you talk about the future, she can do some trainings with the volunteers. As you know, it's very important how a kitchen is run for health and safety of all the participants. Right. So, you know, we have to constantly be going back for our Serve Safe certification, Choke Saver, allergen. You know, so she can pass on a lot of those things to the volunteers as well. We have talked about brunch on Friday as a possibility. We don't know when we may do that. We do different meetings for people that come in. Andy Dowd, who's the town clerk, has a meeting coming up with the other town clerks in the area, so we'll do a breakfast meeting or something like that. So
that's terrific. So that it really can become, you know, not only, so it's not only for seniors who are there, but it also becomes this place where other groups are coming in, which also encourages that interaction with the seniors who are there. So it's not, you know, there's always that sense of, oh, that's the senior center. Well, that's just for the really old, you know, I don't want to go there. That's all those old people, right?
There's no reservations, and anybody from the public can come in.
No, it's a restaurant, public restaurant. So sometimes we get people across the street from the different places. You know, National Grid sometimes come up. Yeah. There's different companies. Industrial Park across the street, we have some people come up, and people from all over come from different senior centers too. So it's not just
from there. Yeah. And I think that's another piece that, once again, if folks who aren't used to going to the senior centers don't realize that all senior centers are for everybody, which is a wonderful thing, right? Because I know from Marlborough there are people that go, well, they go to the Bistro, right? And they just, and it's to the extent that you're growing that kind of network of senior centers, it just helps everybody. Because once again, from my friend Frank and Mary's perspective, it keeps life for everybody really diverse, right? So that's pretty exciting.
It is. It's very exciting.
And it's obviously continuing, and you've got some great events that are coming up, like really soon, right? So Kelly, can you just tell us kind of what else is going on at the senior center?
Senior center?
Yeah.
There's going to be a new yoga class starting. We have the parties, of course, for the holidays. Yep. We have 24 exercise classes a week, so there's a lot to choose from there.
Are those all at a particular specific time during the day, or
all throughout the day? Because some people prefer to exercise in the afternoon, or they have more free time in the morning. So we try to spread that out and have something for everyone. from chair yoga to mat yoga, Tai Chi, Zumba Gold, belly dancing. There's something for everybody to move.
So I could even learn belly dancing?
You absolutely could, Arthur.
This is very exciting. No, I'm turning.
I'll see you there on Thursday morning.
As well.
I'm turning 69 in January, so I'm looking for opportunities to do stuff.
There you go.
I always tell people I don't think I have any clients now under age 55, right? I love it because my clients don't think I'm young. It's terrific, right? So there's this whole variety of things that are happening. Any other special things around the holidays?
We have we have Dull Men's Club, which of course is an international club. It's not something that I started, but it was started in England, and there's a bunch of really interesting guys.
The Dull Men's Club?
That are there,
yes. They meet on Wednesday morning.
Yep, and then there's the pool league. So we have tournaments at the senior center for pool, and so, you know, a lot of times in the past, people will say, well, the senior centers don't have anything for men, but we really do. So we have something, hopefully for everybody, and I am always open to suggestions if people want to see something started. So we have bridge, and somebody just came and said she wanted to start pinochle. So now we have pinochle, and we have cribbage and
mahjong
and pitch.
And as you mentioned earlier, one of the things that you really have going for you too is you have the Friends of the Senior Center.
I really do.
So that to the extent
good friends
that there's somebody that's coming in with a good idea, there's also a pot of money. Not an infinite pot of money, but there's enough. You know, at least it's been my experience in general with programs at senior centers. It isn't a matter of having $1 jillion. It's having enough to get it going, and then you're going to find out if it works. You know, and if it works, well, then it kind of takes care of itself. But the hardest dollars are the dollars to just try it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
And to have the facility or the space to be able to do it in, and you just have the blessing of having that incredible facility.
Yeah, it really is. It's a jewel for Northborough.
And just one more thing too, I just want to say, you talked about blessings. I am truly blessed, and everybody in Northborough is truly blessed to have Kelly as a director here.
Thank you.
Kelly Burke has just brought everything around, and I cannot be more happier in a place than I've ever been. So I just wanted to.
It's like a vibrant place, and I think Kelly's been really, well, she's pretend she's not. I think she's been really good about.
She has.
About focusing on the fact that, I mean, they appreciate the fact that budgets get passed at town meetings, and in the great scheme of things, you know, there's police and there's fire and there's other things, and so it's very, you don't want to be having to compete with those dollars, which are really crucial dollars, or to be saying we need to be raising tax rates, you know. So to be able to have that combination, you know, where you've got, where there's a town facility, right, which obviously had fundraisers, but it's a town facility, but you're making it happen really with a lot of private or kind of public-private dollars. That's what really is making it go, right? And Kelly's been great at that. But don't tell her I said that. Okay.
Right? Thank you, Arthur.
So thank you so much for being on.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Right?
It's fun. Now I can go back and cook my.
Now you can go. Yes, I know. We're kind of on it. This is a short show because we have to be getting the ham done, right? But thank you very much for coming on, Kelly. Thanks again. Right?
Thank you,
This
Arthur.
is just really interesting. And so this is our. Oh no, I guess we have one more show before Christmas.
Outreach.
So it's Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and we hope that you're going to be heading to the Christmas on December the
11th.
Tuesday, December the 11th, and then New Year's Eve on, I bet I can even know that day, but on December 31st, right? Yeah, I think I can handle it. But in the meantime, so we'll see you on the show in December. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next show of Frank and Mary in Northborough.